Rev up your engines! Today I'm going to talk about a Toyota Chaser. Chaser? Chase what? No, it's a real car. They only sold them in Japan, but people import them now. Now there's always interest in these cars in the United States and in Japan because they make great drift cars. 6-cylinder engine in the front, rear wheel drive. They soup them up a lot. This one is stock, it's not souped up, but they were really interesting luxury cars that they only sold in Japan. They never brought them over here. Now if you look at the car, you can see it looked like a Toyota Cressida because they're built on the same frame basically. His windshield nozzles went out, so he got ones for a Toyota Cressida, and they fit perfectly fine. Now you might think buying a car from Japan is going to be a hassle, you can't get parts, yada yada, it's going to cost too much, but not really. The only real hassle, of course, is you got to learn how to drive on the other side. I did this in the British Virgin Islands, so I'm used to it. And as you check it out, it's only got 103,000 on it, but that's not miles, that's kilometers. So that's like 60,000 miles. That's low mileage. In Japan, they don't drive all that much. It's got that velour type upholstery, and it's still in excellent shape. Something you're not gonna see on too many Toyotas. A Chaser steering wheel. And what did he pay? $52.50. Got it from a guy in Massachusetts that they imported from Japan. There's a lot of people that are doing that. I think you got a really good deal for a really nice car. We'll start it up. Starts right up, put in gear, nice smooth idle. Now this is a 92, still a nice quiet engine. Look at it, it's really a 6-cylinder version of my Celica engine. Because my Celica engine is a 1.8 liter 4, this is a 2.0 liter 6. Now if you do buy one of these cars, sometimes you gotta have a little bit of imagination to get parts. For example, he needed a thermostat, so he got one that fit a 4Runner. Works perfectly fine. Now this may be a 30-year-old car, but the AC is still freezing cold. There's the AC compressor, and it's still whisper quiet. These are solid built sedans. And of course, for real drivers, they're front engine, rear wheel drive. Those are the cars that many people like. Not just drifters, they're great for drifting, but for a nice salon style drive, you can't beat rear wheel drive. Now this is a Japanese car, so it is a very interesting thing in the trunk. What's inside? An air purification system. They're worried about pollution in Japan. You got a nice clean car inside here. But alas, even the Japanese have gotten cheaper. It came with a small spare, not a full-sized one. My wife's Lexus, it's 10 years newer, but it still has an actual spare tire. But listen to the quality. Solid. These things are not made of tin. They're made of steel. Listen to that. And it still has the original paint job. And look at the chrome. 30 years old, and I really don't see any pitting on it yet. It's amazing how they used to make things. But sadly enough, they got the dumb plastic bumpers. That was when they started making them cheap. Now it does have glass headlights, but they have a plastic cover on them. They were thinking of everything. This was a luxurious car, the Toyota Chaser. So let's take it for a drive. Wait a second. What happened to the steering wheel? There's no steering wheel. Oh yeah, it's a Japanese car, I forgot. Now this may be a 30-year-old car, but it actually rides about 300% better than that Model Y Tesla that I had over the same road. Much better ride, even though it's this old and that was a brand new car. Smooth power delivery, ultra refined shifting. How many 30-year-old cars are gonna run like that? A 30-year-old luxury car that rides and runs like this for that small amount of money. If you know any of these guys that import Japanese cars, you might take a look at one. This guy's in Massachusetts, the guy I knew was in Houston. The ones I've met, they aren't that greedy. I would say they could probably sell these cars for twice of what they're selling them for. And I gotta say, it sounds exactly like my wife's old Cressida. They just have this unique sound. Nice comfy back seats, and you can't beat that air purification system for our polluted society today. And check it out, the Japanese take such good care of their machines, the dash isn't even cracked. And interestingly enough, it's still got the Japanese parking sticker where it was parked, and the Japanese inspection sticker. And really, I'm amazed by the shine. Look, you can see the whole telephone pole and everything in there. 30-year-old car. Looking that good. So if you were thinking of buying one of these imported Japanese cars, if you find guys that do it for a living, you can get a very good car. Just like that Celica with the 4-wheel drive turbo that I showed a few months ago. That was bought in Houston. You get a beautiful car for a small amount of money, generally with very low mileage, because the Japanese, their road system's different. They don't drive that many miles. They generally park cars, garage them, take a train everywhere. Sometimes they'll have a cottage on the ocean. They'll leave the car there and not drive it it much. So you can get a very good low mileage car at a very reasonable price. And since it's a Toyota, they don't break much. You might be a little bit of problem finding a few kinds of parts, but since they don't break much, and since they're basically crossing us, there's a lot of parts you can find here for them without having to scrounge too hard. I mean, really, you'll probably be the only guy in your neighborhood driving a Toyota Chaser. And here's some bonus questions and answers. Skunk Ape said, Scotty, how do I get poo stains out of my front seat? The best stain remover I ever found all around is that Resolve spray. I got it years ago. I thought I was suckered in. I watched the TV ad and they said, Resolve, it works great to clean rugs. It was ages ago when I was watching a World Series game. Why I bought that stuff? Man, does it clean out stains. Resolve. R-E-S-O-L-V-E. They're not paying me anything. It's just a fantastic cleaner for getting stains out. It really works good. I think it's one of those chlorinated type of things. Spray it on and it bleaches it out. But it does a real good job. I've used it on all kinds of things. Jackets, car seats, you name it. It's great at getting stains out. David M. says, Scotty, my car smells even after an expensive detail with carpet shampoo. They did an awesome job, but it stinks. All right. The problem with cleaning is sometimes the cleaners are too caustic and they stink and they bother you. My wife can't stand smells. I gotta be real careful with what I clean, or she'll be, oh, I got a headache, it stinks, I can't stand it, right? Whatever they use something that was probably too strong. If you roll your windows down, try to air it out in your garage, put fans in it, dry it out, often that will help. You want to keep diluting it. But if you watch that video I made quite some time ago about ozone generators, for like 40, 50 bucks, you can buy an ozone generator. Stick it in for a couple hours with the windows rolled up. It gets rid of almost all odors. They're cleaning the roads here. I can see them right now. It's raining and they're cleaning the roads. Well, I guess it's got the water on it, and so it'll scrub it better. That kind of makes sense, you know? Hey, we're talking about cleaning, and they're cleaning the roads out here in Rhode Island. Wyatt Henry says, Scotty, I'm getting my first car soon. What do you recommend? I recommend that don't have your eyes being bigger than your pocketbook. Don't think, oh, gee, I got to get this fancy racing Mustang. Be logical. I mean, if you just want a car that runs good, get a Toyota Corolla or a Honda Civic. You can find older ones for a good price. They can run forever. Because there's a lot of good-looking cars out there that run like crap. Look at the Chryslers. They make good-looking cars, but they don't run worth beans, and they fall apart as they age. So go ahead at that route. Ashar says, Scotty, you used to live in Texas. What do you think of crazy drivers over here? I just had 3 close calls this week. Now, I'm assuming you're in Massachusetts, because that's why I'm near now. I'm in the Rhode Island, Massachusetts border. And they call them pole drivers from Massachusetts. You get my drift, right? Some of them drive like maniacs. Tailgate people an inch away. I saw a guy in a little bitty Volkswagen Beetle. He was tailgating a truck going 70 miles an hour, and he was that far away. Didn't know that truck's got air brakes that can stop on a dime. He would have been squashed like a beetle. That's how some of the people in Massachusetts seem to drive. Even the people that live here tell me, watch out for them. They're just maniac drivers, and I gotta say, they do drive like maniacs around here. Parker House said, how is the 2012 Camaro SS for reliability? They're okay vehicles, but they're really fast. Most guys buy those things, they drive the heck out of them. If you're talking about buying a used one, I wouldn't advise it unless you had a guy like me check it out with a fine-tooth comb, and you're buying it from an older or a middle-aged man who doesn't drive it like an absolute lunatic, because anything driven hard will fall apart, and GM's quality isn't what it used to be, so be real careful if you're buying a used one. Booty says, Scotty, I got an 04 Jeep Cherokee, 160,000 miles. It has a high-pitched whistle when I let off the gas pedal. Any idea? Try to find out where the whistle's coming from. Now, let's say you're in the driveway. Give it gas and take off. If it whistles, then great. Open the hood. You see what's whistling. It's often a bad PCV valve. PCV valves suck air, and if they're weird when you let go, they can sometimes whistle with back pressure. Sometimes dirt in the throttle can make it whistle. You can do my video, make your car run better with the spray cleaner, and you could spray clean the throttle so it doesn't whistle anymore. A lot of times it's a passageway that air is going through. When you decelerate, you get kind of a negative pressure going on there in the intake system. It's probably something under the hood. Now, if it only does it when you're driving and not when you're just sitting there, watch my video, Finding the Source of Car Noises on YouTube. You can put the machine in and you can pinpoint where that whistle's coming from. Sherry Kelly says, Scotty, what do you think the cheapest way to go on the water would be? Any old 2-stroke jet skis for a few grand, any good? Here's the problem with 2-stroke motors. You mix the oil with the gas and they lubricate that way. There's no oil in the engine, a reservoir that lubricates it. They often get oil starvation problems as they age, and they're useless piles of crap. But on the other hand, jet skis are what? Toys. A lot of them aren't used that much. If you can get one, that you can start it up and it doesn't smoke too bad and it runs okay, you could get a pretty good deal and have some fun with it. Because the one advantage of a two-stroke engine is they're very easy to rebuild because they're simple. They don't have valves, they don't have camshafts, there's much less parts on them, so they're a lot cheaper to fix too. Because if you buy one of the new ones, they're outrageously expensive. But like I say, they're toys. And toys, you know what kind of resale toys have? Toys have no resale value, so you might get a good one cheap. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.